Hi there, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 370 and I'm Lisa, also known as fibernymph. Today it's a Tuesday that feels like a Monday since this was a holiday week and Bill had yesterday off for the 4th of July, which was actually on Sunday. Anyway, it's Tuesday, July 6th and it's early. It's about 8:30 in the morning and I'm taking advantage of the cool breeze outside here on the deck because it's going to be another really hot and humid day today, as yesterday was as well. And I did actually record this whole episode yesterday, but it was later in the day and so I kind of had to hide in the bedroom, and I had the air conditioner on low and I thought maybe I could get away with that, but no, the sound was pretty bad. So I'm doing it again and hopefully it will go a little bit better. It's not breezy out. I mean, there's a breeze, but it's not like windy breezy, so hopefully there won't be any sound anomalies on the video this time. But we are out on my deck, so you can see some of my little flower pots over here. We put flowers on the corners of the deck this year and they look so nice. It's one of those things that makes me feel like an adult to have like flowers on my deck, so I'm fancy. And you'll probably see some birds flitting around, so enjoy. And hopefully I can get this done before the sun comes completely up over the house and starts to bake me. Have my notes. So we're gonna just jump right in, but I will say I hope you all had a happy 4th of July if you celebrated that here in the U.S. Well, I mean, everybody has a 4th of July, but it's a holiday here in the U.S., so happy 4th belatedly, and happy Canada Day for those of you in Canada, because I know that was recently as well. Let's see, we're going to just jump right in to the knitting so that I can move this along, and I've got some finished objects for you. First object is the Sofronia shawl that I showed you as something that I think I had just started the last time I recorded. So this is the Sofronia pattern by Sarah Jordan. And here is my finished one. Isn't it pretty? It's so bright and happy. I'm going to put this on for like a super split second, although this top is really not the best top, the best neckline to try this on with, but it'll give you an idea. It is a small shawl, so I would say shawlette, and it'll probably be mostly just worn this way. It's asymmetrical, so let's see, do I have it turned right? Yes, okay, here we go. Not that you can really tell, it's garter stitch. So, but it does have these little beaded baubles along the edge. Can you see those? I should have showed you those before I put it on. They're super cute. And then as I was finishing it, I decided to use up more of the beads that I had, and I just inserted beads every 5 stitches on, I think, 2 rows before my bind off row was where I did those, so I'm not sure how well you can see those. I'm not sure why I'm trying to show you this stuff while I have it on. Yeah, anyway, there's beads in there. I will try to put in a picture here, or maybe a few pictures that show you the details a little bit more closer up. But yeah, it's cute. It actually kind of goes well with the top I have on color-wise. The yarn that I used was Tempting Ewe Yarn, and this was the Ewe So Sparkly, that's E-W-E, Ewe So Sparkly base in the Rainbow Brite colorway. So it was sort of my June Pride Month project, although I didn't finish it until Sunday. So anyway, there it is. I'm happy with it. It's really cute, and it was an entry that I could count in the splash pad party since I'm participating in that. So that gave me some yard or grams. I guess the splash pad party goes by grams. And if you don't know what the splash pad party is, that is a summer knit along that Jen from the Down Cellar Studio hosts every year. I'm a sponsor for it, but I'm also taking part in it this year. Okay, so what else do I need to tell you about that? US 4 needles, and that's probably about it. I did use all but I think, you know, maybe 3 yards of the yarn. Like I got down to the very end. I probably could have done another row or 2 before binding off, but I didn't want to risk it, so don't like losing at Yarn Chicken. All right, so that's the first finished object I've got for you. The second one is the weaving project that I showed you last time that I had just started, I think that day, and I finished it the next day, the weaving part of it anyway. Weaving, that's the nice thing about rigid heddle weaving on a 10-inch loom with worsted weight yarn. It goes pretty quickly. So here is my finished table runner. And it will indeed be a table runner. I made that decision. I added beads to the fringe that I think are just super cute. I had them in my stash. Apparently I'm on a bead kick. Sarah started it all with the shawl and the beaded baubles. But yeah, I had these nice wooden beads in my stash and they coordinated really well with this yarn, so I used those. I did not measure it, but I'm gonna say it's a little over 3 feet long, probably. I don't know, maybe it's 4 feet, whatever. Again, I will put some pictures in here because I did take some pictures of it the other day. This will be a gift for a friend of mine for Christmas, so look at me go, getting some Christmas gifts done early. What else do I need to tell you? The yarn for this was, I think I told you the wrong yarn company last time. It's Knitter's Brewing Company yarn, and it was the Brewski worsted weight. And the colorways, the variegated one is TurCranPie, and then this berryish colored one was Framboise. I never know if I'm pronouncing that right. Framboise or Framboise. Anyway, it's purple. So yeah, and Wendy from Knitter's Brewing Company is also a sponsor for the splash pad party, so I got extra points for that as an entry for the splash pad. Now, I will tell you one thing. When I was working on it, I had kind of been doing a pattern, right? So I was doing two narrow sections of the variegated, then a wide for my weft, 2, and then 1, and then you get to this side, and I did 3, and then 1, and then 2. I don't think my friend's gonna care. I think it'll be fine. We'll call it a design element, whatever. But it is finished, and I had a little bit of warp left over that was not enough to do like any more repeats of what I was doing, even though I messed my repeats up. So I just wove that myself for a little mat. It's a little wonky because I think what I should have done was woven like scrap yarn in between the table runner and this for a good enough length that would allow for the fringe for both items. I just kind of faked it and didn't put very much waste yarn in and then just jumped ahead. So the warp was kind of loose, but it turned out okay. I'll probably just use it to put a plant on. I'm not going to include it as the gift because it is a little wonky, but whatever. It's weaving and it's done. So that's my second finished object. And the only other item that I have that I'm counting as a finished object, mainly for the splash pad party, because this is not something I would normally even bother showing you, but it was a set of 5 different colorway samples. You know how I knit my little colorway samples, so that I can show how my self-striping knits up often. I had 5 of them, and since you have to do a minimum of 50 grams for an entry for the splash pad party, I just did enough of them so that I ended up with 50 grams, and so I've got 5. This is my Driving PA East-West colorway. Here is Fungi Pi. This is my Splash Pad Party colorway for this year, which is Summer Stripes. This is a colorway that'll be in the shop this Friday, actually. It's called Momentum. This was the exclusive skein that I sent out to the full year participants of the monthly makes program 2 years ago. So that will be in the shop for the first time. And then this last one is one that's not going to be in the shop. It was an exclusive colorway that I did for the goodie bags for the Zombie Knitpocalypse retreat, which was that just last weekend? 2 weekends ago now. And it's called Choose Happy. It's not going to be for sale in the shop though. It was available to the people who went to the retreat, and that was it. So, but I did a sample of it. So those are my samples that got me another entry for the splash pad party, because I'm all about the entries apparently. I think that's everything as far as finished objects. I have two projects that I worked on, and they're both crochet projects actually. The one is the crocheted tube cowl that I showed you the last time. I've made some more progress on it. So, and you know what, it's funny, I showed you this last time and I said the cast on edge or the chain on edge was a little wibbly wobbly. I somehow lost about 10 or 12 stitches after this cast on versus like where I was working on it. I have no idea where those stitches went. It's not like I've dropped stitches. I may just have not picked up every stitch from my chain. That's the most likely thing. Like looking at it, I think that's probably it. So once I get to the end, I could probably pick out that chain and then just graft my two live ends, because I didn't do it as a provisional. It's not a cast on, it's a chain on, I guess. I don't know. I did not do it provisionally in any respect. I'll figure it out when I get to the end. But anyway, I was in the middle of this color whenever I showed it to you last. So obviously I finished that mini, and then I did a little bit more of this full skein that I have, and then I'm on the second mini now. And all of this yarn that I'm using is from Legacy Fiber Arts. They are also a sponsor for the Splash Pad Party, although I do not think this will be getting done by the end of July. This is taking way longer than I thought it would. I usually think of crochet as being pretty quick, and it is, except when you're doing fingering weight crochet, single crochet, it takes a little while. At least it is for me. I'm enjoying it though, because I'm also adding beads to that. I think I showed you that last time. Let's see if I can get close enough for you to see some of the beads. Yeah, there you go. The light's catching them. So, yeah, it's fun. I don't know the colorway names of any of the minis. There was two sets of minis, and then my main skein is the Tiny Dancer colorway, which did come with a semi-solid pink mini that I may or may not use, because all of the other minis are variegated and some of them are speckled, so this would be the only semi-solid color, so it may not get used for this project. We'll see. But it's just a really kind of simple, mindless project. As I told you last time, I'm doing varying sections of single crochet, and then I'm doing single crochet through the back loop. That's what I'm calling it. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it's how I'm describing what I'm doing. And then a narrow section of regular single crochet, a wider section of the through the back loop, and I'm just going back and forth like that. I'm not really even counting rows to see if I'm doing even numbers of rows for that or the same number of rows. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just having fun with it. So that is my one project. The other project that I'm working on is one that you haven't seen in quite a while, but it's my Granny Stripes cardie. So here it is. You may remember this, that I had goofed it up because I was trying to do some decreases, and I didn't know how to do decreases in crochet. So I was winging it, and it ended up, it decreased, but it made these strange boinky angles on the sides of the sweater. Not attractive. So I ripped those out. So, and I had sort of lost steam on it at that point. And then a viewer, when I was talking about that, a viewer had suggested going down a crochet hook size, which I think I was talking about recently, that I needed to find a C hook, because I had been using a D hook, and I didn't think I had any, and I was looking for one similar to what I'd been using because I really liked it. It's the wooden hooks. Let's see, where's my wooden hook? I can show you. I've shown you before. I don't know where it's at. Anyway, wooden hook. I did find a C hook though in my stash, and I think the reason I overlooked it was because it just looks so tiny compared to that wooden hook that I had been using. But the wooden hook, the handle on the wooden hook is a little larger, you know, than this fine metal one. So this is a C hook. It's a C2. I guess that's a C. Maybe there's a C1 and it's slightly different. I don't really know. But I used my needle gauge that also has hook sizes in it, and I stuck it through, and it does show it as being a C. So that's what I'm using, and I've done that for these 4 rows. So starting with this blue. So this blue and the neutral, and this pinkish color in the neutral. Those 4. I can't say that I'm seeing a lot of difference in my gauge. But I'm hoping that as I go along, it might become more evident. And honestly, at this point, I don't care. I'm just going to work on it because I want to work on it. So the pattern is a Good Vintage Cardi by Fran Morgan. And I am using my Mountain Tweed BFL base for this. I'd started out using, you know, like a full skein of the plain vanilla, my undyed, and then a whole bunch of minis. And this is back whenever my tweed minis were the Mountain Tweed BFL base. They are now Mountain Tweed Merino. It looks the same and works the same. It's just Merino rather than BFL because that's what I can get from my supplier already in mini form, and it makes life so much easier for me. They work together fine, so this will be a fair representation of if you were using those minis. So here it is. I like it. It's going to be so colorful. The only weird thing is, I don't know what I did here. This was not a decrease on purpose. It was just something really wonky. I think it has to do with how I started there. I don't know what I did. It's a little weird, but there are going to be button bands on the edges of this, so I think it'll be fine. I will camouflage it somehow, she says optimistically. So, yeah, that's the only other project I've really been working on. My mom was here for 4 days last week. She came into town because one of her cousins passed away, and so she had to do all, you know, the funeral stuff, and I was driving her to that. So I basically lost 4 days of my week last week, which is fine. I'm not complaining about it. It was family stuff, and that takes priority, but it definitely did rearrange my week last week. And as always, when she comes to visit, she stays in our bedroom, and then we sleep in the camper. We have a small, it's a motorcycle pop-up camper that we set up down below our deck. It's a perfect spot for it. And so we were down there, and she was in there, but like the times that I wanted to actually work on something, all of my projects were in the bedroom. So that's why that ended up getting pulled back out of my whips, because it was easy and it didn't take a lot of thought, and I could just sort of play with it. I really did not work on much while she was here, though. I was so tired. We did a lot of driving for that. Everything was the funeral and the funeral home, and all that stuff was in Pittsburgh, which is about an hour's drive from here. And then I had to pick her up from the airport and then take her back to the airport, which is an even longer drive. Adds about 20 minutes to a half an hour more. So it was a lot of driving last week. I was very happy to be done driving to Pittsburgh. Okay, I don't know why I had to tell you all that, but it's part of what's been going on. I guess that's what I was saying. I just haven't really gotten to work on much of anything else because I was busy last week. And then honestly, my knitting project energy is very low right now. I'm having a lot of project ennui. It's just like nothing's exciting me. I don't really have anything that I want to be working on. I want to crochet. That's what I do. So I'm going with that. I'm just crocheting. I need to potentially cast on an easy travel project because Bill and I are planning a trip that we may or may not get to take in about a week and a half. It's all dependent on his work schedule, and he's got some last minute stuff that might come up that may preclude us from being able to go away. But we are tentatively planning a canoe trip up in Michigan on the Asabla River. So if that happens, I will need to take something. It'll probably just be a sock because that's my default travel project. And as we all know, when I go on motorcycle trips or canoe trips, I take things and I hardly ever get to work on them. So who knows? Anyway, stay tuned for that one. Let's see, what else was I going to tell you about? That's really it project-wise. I'd like to warp my loom for another table runner because that is going to be a series of gifts that I'm making some friends this year for the holidays. So I just have to decide on yarn for the next one. I don't know what I want to use. So you might see that coming up. Let's jump to the Nature Make-Alongs because we are now finished with the second Nature Make-Along period, which was May and June, and that was Fauna. And so that is done, and I have some prizes to award. So let's do that. First, I'm going to show you what the prize choices are. So I have 2 winners, so of course I'm offering 3 prizes, and the yarn that I chose this time is all Tweedy yarn. So the 3 colorways I'm offering for prizes, that's not even a word, which is my Scrabble colorway, or Scrabble inspired colorway. This is on my Snow Tweed Merino, so the tweed is, it's a cotton nylon nap, as opposed to my Mountain Tweed, which is a nylon nap. This is cotton nylon, so it's different, and it's whitish, and it takes the color differently. It's a lot of fun though. I like it. It's a little lighter weight. Well, it's not a lighter weight yarn. The neps seem lighter to me. Anyway, Snow Tweed Merino, that's not even a word, is one choice. And then the other 2 are both on Mountain Tweed Merino. This one is the Driving PA East-West colorway that I showed you the sample of. This is one of the just a little different skeins though, where the variegated stripes turned out to be a little bit more tonal rather than variegated, but otherwise the colors are pretty similar. I mean, the colors are the same, it's just the way they dyed up is a little different, but anyway, so that's one choice. And then the third choice is a skein of Summertime Blues, also on Mountain Tweed BFL. So all self-striping, those are the 3 choices. So if you are one of the winners, please email me at fibernymph@gmail.com. Please don't message me on Ravelry, and please don't message me through other social media, because I don't get those messages in a timely manner. Email is always best. So email me and let me know that you know you won, and then tell me your top 2 prize choices. So that way, whichever one is still available, I can send out to you. And of course, send me your full name and mailing address. Okay, so the chatter winner. We had 425 chatter posts last in the Fauna portion of the make-along, and that was posts number 652 through 1077, and random number generator chose post number 827, and that is Hockey Rachel. Yay, Hockey Rachel. Congratulations. Please get in touch and let me know what you would like for your prize. And then the finished object submissions through the submission form that we're using, there were 65 entries for Fauna, so that's exciting. So I did random number generator 1 through 61, and the number it chose was post number, 65 entries. I did a random number generator 1 through 65. It chose post, or submission number 61. Wow. And that is MJ Nat, G-N-A-T-T. So MJ Nat, congratulations. That was your submission for your show-off stranded socks, which were very pretty. So congratulations to both of our winners, Rachel and MJ. Please, again, email me and I will get a prize sent out to you. Send me your top 2 picks. Okay, as you know, probably already, July is an off month for the Nature Make-Along, so we're not doing that this month. We're taking a break. We'll resume it again in August, so August and September will be the next theme period, and that will be SEA, S-E-A. And it does not have to be anything specifically related to an actual sea. We're basically, that's going to be the water section, so anything related to natural bodies of water. So it can be oceans, rivers, lakes, ponds, streams, creeks, whatever, wherever you find naturally occurring water. So not tap water. Maybe you have a puddle out in the driveway after it rains. I'll count that. It's fine. And that can also be related to anything that lives in the water, plants, animals, what have you. You're good to go. So you can be thinking about that for August. But meanwhile, I decided that we would use July as a self-care summer month. And just as we're taking our break from the make-alongs, focus on our self-care. And I had grand plans that I was going to post in the Ravelry thread and the fibernymph Dye Works blog. I was going to post regularly throughout July and share some of my self-care tips and ideas, and also I wanted to hear what yours are, what you're doing for yourself this summer. As it turns out, like I said, last week was kind of just off the rails and was not anything that I had planned. So I was kind of late to getting to that party. But I have posted a little bit of information there, including kind of a funny, well, it turned out to be a funny story of how the universe reminded me I needed to slow down, courtesy of 2 different traffic stops that I had last week on the same day, actually taking my mom and my son to the airport on Friday, 5 miles apart. Slow down, ma'am. Please slow down. They just gave me warnings. No tickets, thankfully, but still. I figure when that happens twice in that short of a period of time, literally within 5 miles of each other, and you just get warnings, that's the universe. It's, my husband's like, no, it's the cops telling you to drive slower. And that may be true, but it's also the universe's way of saying, you need to slow down. So that's my tip for you. Slow down. And also drive slower, if you're like me and have a tendency to drive a little fast. Faster than the speed limit. Anyway, right now, in light of especially last week and my whole plan for the week being thrown out the window by Monday evening, I'm just trying to cut myself some slack. You know, things will get done. The things that need to get done, that's what I'm focusing on. And everything else, all those little things, they'll either get done or they won't, and it's probably not going to be the end of the world. So I'm trying to remind myself of that. Sometimes having no plan can be the best plan. You know, I'm doing fine with all my big ticket items, you know, the things that have hard deadlines and, you know, goals that I specifically have, especially for my business. I'm always pretty on track with business stuff, but it's the rest of life that can just sort of get blown off course so easily. So cut yourself some slack. I recommend it. Oh, okay, so it's the end of the podcast, but I just realized I did not share for the self-care summer. I told you I was going to schedule some Zooms that we could do for that, and I do have the first one scheduled. It is scheduled for next week, which is Wednesday, I think the 14th. Let me double check my date. I know I have it written here somewhere. Yes, Wednesday, the 14th, July 14th, I'm sorry, at 2 p.m. Eastern. I think that's a safe time for me to try to do something online without my Zoom cutting out because our internet is crappy. So please join me. It'll be July 14th. That's a Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to be a part of that, please email me. Again, please don't leave it in the comments. Don't put it in Ravelry or anywhere else. Email me, fibernymph@gmail.com, and I will send you the invite info and the link for that Zoom. I will try to do another one before the end of the month as well, but again, that's going to be dependent on whether we go on a trip, which I can't remember if I've already told you about that at this point in the video or not, since I've already finished recording, but we may be going on a trip. So in case I didn't fill you in, that's why I have to wait to schedule the second one. But the first one will be next week, and I hope you can join in. So again, if you want to join me, email me, fibernymph@gmail.com, and I'll get the info to you. Okay, back to the rest of the podcast. All right, let's jump into shop news. I don't have a lot of shop news, but I did want to say thank you so much to everybody who pre-ordered the Winter Magical Holiday Countdown sets. Those pre-orders did close at the end of June, so there will be no more pre-orders for those. I think I hit a record number, though, of pre-orders this year, so that's kind of exciting, and I'm really looking forward to getting those all dyed up and those collections put together. Like, this is one of those big projects that I've just had such a clear image of what I'm doing for these, so it's really exciting to have all the orders in now and can get started on them. That's going to be a large portion of what I'm planning to work on now through when they ship in November. I'll still be, of course, dyeing for the shop and doing some other things, but that is going to be a consistent project that I'll be working on, that will be taking time, that I will probably not be talking to you about because it is all meant to be a surprise for those who ordered them. So just know that that's going on in the background for the next several months. And again, if I have any extra sets come November after the other ones that were pre-ordered ship out, I will make those available in the shop. I just can't guarantee how many there might be, but I usually have a few. There will be a shop update this coming Friday, which is the 9th, and it will be 5 p.m. Eastern. It's not going to be a super huge update, but there's going to be 2 colorways. Did I bring them out? Yes. That have not been in the shop. Well, this one has not been in the shop at all. And this was the one I showed you the little sample of. This is the Momentum colorway, which I shipped out as the exclusive for the 2019 monthly makes people who did the whole year. I have a few of the actual sets that I dyed up at that time that have the little mini skein with them. So the ones that I have left over will be in the shop as the original sets. Otherwise, it's just going to be the self-striping yarn on a few different bases. So you can grab these if they're available to you when you get to the shop, or you can just get the self-striping skein without the mini. So Momentum will be one colorway in the shop, and then I have my Splash Pad Party colorway from last year, which is called Bright Spots. I did not bring my sample out for that. I'll try to remember to put a picture of that in here, how that stripes up. So Bright Spots was my exclusive colorway for the 2020 Splash Pad Party, and so it was in the shop last summer just for the Splash Pad Party, but I'm putting a bunch of it in the shop now for you guys. It's fun. It's a really soft, bright colors, but softer bright colors. Not quite pastel, I would say, sort of in between. But anyway, that will be in there. And the other thing that I'm hoping to have in there is I'm going to do another round of serendipitous stripes. You guys really seemed to like those last time when I dyed those up. So I'm going to try to get some more of those in the shop for this Friday. And that's just whenever I do one-off colorways. You know, I might do them on more than one base, but that's it. Once they're gone, they're gone. They won't be re-dyed. It's a fun thing for you, and it's a fun thing for me because I can play in the studio and not have pressure to get things perfect as far as established colorways. So those are my plans for Friday's shop updates. What else? Oh, I wanted to talk to you about shows. I know I had mentioned earlier this year that I thought I would possibly have some shows on my calendar for the end of this year. And as it turns out, I am deciding to not do any shows this year. That was a personal decision. I did have the option to do a few, but I have just decided that there are a few too many things sort of up in the air personally right now, mainly having to do with Bill's work schedule. He has a lot of vacation time that he needs to use, which I know seems like such a hardship, but it actually is because he's also the only person in his department that does the reporting and the permitting that he does, and there's a lot of deadlines associated with that, and so he's trying to juggle the need to get all this work done plus the need to take over 60 days of vacation time this year, which is ridiculous. But he didn't take any last year, really, at least not very much, and so they were able to carry over more, and so now we've got all this time we're trying to juggle, which is why we've got this potential trip that we're going to take leaving next weekend. That maybe 9 days that we could be away, unless something with one of these permits or whatever comes up at the last minute, then we won't be able to go. At any rate, I just feel the need to leave my schedule be fluid enough that when a time block comes up that like he would be able to go away, that I could say yes, I can go. And if I have shows on my calendar, I can't do that because I'm doing a lot of prep work or going to shows, and I don't want to have to say no, I can't go away, because I want him to be able to go away and I want to be able to enjoy that with him. So and he's set to retire next summer in August, and so this is going to kind of be an ongoing thing through then. So I've just made the choice that between now and when he retires, I'm not going to put any shows on my calendar, unless there might be some like last minute thing I can join in locally. I'm probably not going to be doing shows until after he retires and after we figure out what the new normal is for our lives. And I feel really good about having made that decision because I was really, really getting stressed out about it prior to that. So I hope you understand. I know a lot of people look forward to seeing me vend at shows, and I look forward to getting to see you at shows, but right now it's just not something that's workable for our life, and I know in the future that will probably change, but right now we're just going to leave that component out, and I will manage more easily with doing shop updates and with hopefully being able to take time away with my husband, who he really needs to get the time away because he works all the time. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that. Other than that, I think the only thing I was going to talk to you about is what's bringing me joy recently, and obviously getting to see my mom was a point of joy. The reason she was here was not, you know, a happy one. You're never happy when someone passes away, obviously, but it was good to see her, and it was good actually to I got to see some family, like my cousins and stuff, some of whom I have probably not seen in 10-15 years, so it was nice to get to see them and catch up a little bit. Again, the circumstances around that could have been better, but you take what you can. And, you know, getting to plan this canoe trip is fun, and it'll be even more fun if we actually get to go on it, but, you know, there's hope. So that's bringing me joy. And other than that, I'm just trying to enjoy the summer, give myself a break, not stress myself out over things that don't need to be stressed out about. I am enjoying our garden. I still have not done a garden tour, I know. Every time I try to do it, it just sort of gets goofy, so I have not done it yet. But the garden is sort of flourishing right now, such as it is. We have a lot of herbs that we put in. They're coming up, most of them. Some of them are not doing super well. Our chamomile is struggling this year. I don't know why. Last year it was great. But it was funny, I chose not to plant tomatoes this year. I think I told you that. I wasn't going to put any tomato plants in, but we have so many volunteer tomato plants that are coming up from tomatoes that had fallen on the ground last year and then just, you know, got tilled into the earth this year, and they're up all over the place. I've pulled a bunch out because I don't need that many tomato plants, but there are some that are doing it very, very well. So it'll be interesting. I don't know what kind they are. It'll be interesting to see what turns out to grow on them as far as whether they're going to be cherry tomatoes or regular tomatoes. I don't know. I'm looking down there. Here, maybe I can... Here, hold on. I'll try not to move too quickly. There, you can see it. There's the garden. Here, if I raise it up. So you can kind of see. And we've got the flowers all around the perimeter again this year, which is always so pretty. I like having those there. Peas are doing really well. Hopefully we'll actually get some peas. I'm surprised they're doing as well as they are because I put them in late and they tend to be a cooler weather crop. Although we've had an unseasonably cool, damp summer so far, with a few hot and humid days thrown in, like right now. What else? Carrots. The carrots are coming up really well. I hope they actually turn into carrots, like that will be edible and not just a lot of greenery. I got 2 radishes. Planted a whole row of radishes, only 2 came up, but they were very tasty radishes. We've eaten them already. What else is down there? My spaghetti squash plants are thriving, so I'm hoping to keep them corralled so they don't take over the entire garden. But yeah, that's about it. I don't think we have any other veggies in there right now. Oh, the lettuce. The lettuce is doing super well. I need to start picking the lettuce before it bolts and we don't get to eat it. But we had a lot of green stuff in the refrigerator, so I was trying to use that up first. So maybe we'll have a garden salad tonight for dinner. That will be lovely. I think that's everything. I hope you're having a good July, a nice start to your July month. I would love to hear what you're doing for your own self-care this month and through the summer. It doesn't have to be anything big. I'd love to just hear, like, are you treating yourself to, you know, a little time off? Maybe doing something special? Have you decided maybe it's a good time to treat yourself? Someone I know, one of the participants in the Ravelry group mentioned that she celebrated something in her life by buying herself a new project bag. That's always so much fun. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. For me, like I said, I'm just trying to cut myself some slack, focus on the big things that I know I need to get done, and just give myself the latitude to make smaller choices as I feel led to make smaller choices. And if that means not knitting right now because I don't feel led to knit, then I'm not going to knit things just to knit them. You know, I'll crochet things if that's what I want to do, or I may just not work on anything. Yeah, whatever. It's okay. I'm gonna just enjoy these days and take it as it comes. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you will find some rest and peace and some cool respite if you're also having these hot and humid days. And I will talk to you again before the end of July for sure. I'm just not 100% sure when, because it depends on whether we go on this trip or not. So take care, and I'll talk to you again soon. Love you guys. Bye.